Valley Club, if you're like me and not going for the Granite Dorky fusion, your account's kind of in a holding pattern right now, saving all your shards, all your souls for whatever's gonna come for these turtles in anticipation for Leonardo and Raphael. And in this video, we're gonna go over the most wanted legendary characters in Raid, and if you're ready to see them, you know what to do, Valley Club. Find that like button and let's go smash it. Welcome to the ValleyFlyin Raid channel. I am ValleyFlyin. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you're saving all your resources if you're trying to go for Leonardo and Raphael, maybe April as well. Saving all your shards, saving all your souls, not participating in a lot of events. So in this video, we're gonna go through kind of a wish list. I did this with epic characters, the one character from each faction that would be the most game-changing for my account. We're gonna do that with legendary characters this time as well. And if you get some value from the video today, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you know as soon as a brand new Raid Shadow Legends video goes up. On a normal week, at least 6 pieces of Raid Shadow Legends content. Let's jump into the game because I am in a holding pattern right now, saving my sacred shards, saving my souls for the events that were sort of leaked and sort of confirmed by Polarum to be coming. The dates they said were not right, but it looks like we are getting a Swordsmaster Path event for Leonardo, and then a event related to the souls, a deck of fate probably for Raphael. So I'm saving my sacred shards. I think I'll be good for a path to event. And the reason I'm saving that is because it's very unlikely that after the collab with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ends on the 13th, it probably is gonna be tough to get some of these characters. So we look at these Blade Master characters, the Xena characters, the Ninja characters, some of the other characters that were in past collaborations, not possible to get these from shards right now. So I think it's gonna be the same with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And there is a great summon pool to get Leonardo right now. Maybe you don't have to save some of your stuff if you get lucky with this, but I am not doing this summon pool because the free Prism Crystal for that is with opening souls. Yeah, to get this Prism Crystal right now, you're gonna have to open souls, which might screw you up for the Raphael event. So I'm holding all that stuff and actually participating in this Soul Chase tournament. Not this Soul Chase, the Gear Ascension tournament for the Shogun's Grove and event and the Sand Devil's Necropolis. And tomorrow's the Shredder's Wrath tournament. Gonna participate in this one as well, just to get more of these Immortal Soul Stones to up my collection, because estimate is about 40 of these you need. So I'm kind of short right now, and hopefully I can make some of that up with all these mortal souls that we have. This Immortal Soul Stones, we have 16, we want 40, and we have 2 of these Eternals. So it kind of makes up some of the difference. Hopefully we can get a lot more of this. But if you're also like myself, you once in a while go to the index, see all the characters you're missing, see the character that would be the most game-changing. I did this with epic characters before, but I'm gonna do this with legendary characters today. Before we get into all that, I do want to remind you, it's a great time to start playing Raid Shadow Legends, not only because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collab is going on right now, because there's a code up there right now, QR code that you could scan to start off a brand new account, or the link in the description. Right away, you're gonna get off to the best start in Raid Shadow Legends, starting off with Karato Fox Hunter. You're gonna get some other epic characters, some great epic characters at various levels. And there's a login calendar right now, if you haven't already claimed it, for Michelangelo, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All you need to do is log in for 7 days. And once you have Karato in your account, that means you have entered the code correctly. If you have an account on your device previously, you may need to go over to the PC to start a new account and then get that code, and then you can start to play on your mobile device. But once you have Karato in your account, enter one of these codes within your first 24 hours to get another legendary. There's some great legendaries. I would recommend the code Desert Queen to get 200. She's a great Void legendary. These are harder to obtain. Monkey King gets you Sun Wukong. Those are my top 2 choices, but you could use any one of these codes and get all this free stuff, guys. Make sure you use that QR code or that link in the description to start that account. Don't just do it from the iOS or Android store, because you're not gonna get all these bonuses if you do. All right, but let's look at this index. There's a lot of legendary characters that I'm missing, so this is gonna be a little different than the epics. I do have a lot of the epics. There's only a few that I'm missing. There's a lot of legendaries that I'm missing, so this is gonna be a wider diverge raid. Now, I did get Marishka very luckily, and if there's one Bannerlord that would change my account significantly, probably be the pair with Marishka. What is this? Taras the Fierce. Yeah, both of these have some great synergy with each other. Marishka and Taras. Where does he? All right, she's mentioned in A2 here. Marishka attacks that whenever an enemy attacks Marishka, attack that enemy using this skill, which is placing a stun. They have some great synergy with each other. Marishka is one of the best characters in the game. Taras is a great pair with her and is a great character in himself. 4.9 rating. So yeah, this would be my banner lord. Pretty easy choice in this section here. All right, High Elves. Which character would change my account the most? Well, it cannot be a character that we can't get. So none of the Blade Masters. I don't know if we have a Blade Master here, but I think it would be Othorion Wallmaster. This guy is great in a lot of different areas. Hydra, Spider's Den, Chimera. His passive increases chap's max HP by 20% for each enemy killed or Hydra head decapitated by this champion. Stacks up to 5,000 and also places an increased attack buff, 50% increased accuracy buff, and a 30% increased speed buff on the champion 3 turns, then grants an extra turn, attacks all enemies on the A2 2 times. The first hit, 75% that plays a block buffs, debuffs for 2 turns. The second hit, 75% just plays the decreased attack buff. So really weakening the enemies, and the damage base is on attack and the enemy max HP, also filling the champion's turn meter by 5% for each enemy living after this attack. It's a great A1 as well. AoE attack will not trigger any counter attacks and getting more turn meter as well. I think that would change my account the most. The High Elves I'm doing pretty good in. We have already passed the faction wars with the High Elves, so that's a good faction. Now, Sacred Order, we have a lot of ways to go. Wixwell would be a account changer because we do have Titus, but we don't have Wixwell. Someone to grow the shields to up that damage for Titus to really increase what he could do for the Hydra and against other bosses. We do have Noelle, Lady Noelle, which pairs with Sir Nicholas, and we do have Cupidus that could pair with Venus. So we have a few different pairs that we could go for here. He-Man is out of it because he's kind of one of those limited time champs. Cardiel is a great champ as well that we don't have, but I think I would go with one of the pairs. And I think Venus would be harder to get because she's a Void Legendary than Wixwell. Wixwell would probably be a little more valuable in my account, but I think Venus and Cupidus pair would be the way I would go. I don't know. I've been going back and forth on this for a while. Wixwell is so good. Maybe I'll just go with Wixwell. I think that would help us in many areas of the game. Yeah, I changed my mind. Wixwell to pair with Titus instead of this Venus pairing. Venus and Cupidus is awesome, and Venus on as a standalone character, probably I was gonna say better than the Wixwell, probably not better than Wixwell with the pairings that he could do, but really I want Wixwell because of this A2, 75% chance to blaze a decreased attack buff for 2 turns, also increases duration of all ally buffs for 1 turn, then increase the value of all shields on all allies. The value of each shield is increased proportional to the total number of buffs which had a duration increase. So you want someone that has a lot of buffs, he wants to extend them a lot, and that is what's gonna increase that shield to help Titus do his damage. So I think I would go with Wixwell. I think it would be the most game-changing for my account right away. As we move on to the Barbarians, there's a lot of good Barbarians. Obviously, Raphael would be a game changer, but not going to count him in this because he still has an event coming up, and hopefully we're going to get him. Anyway, some of these Archer is a great one, but that was a limited time character as well. So we have some great ones here. Tuhanrak, which is a character that you can get for free if you're starting off a new account with that code. Odin's a great character. We have Thor as a great character as well, but I think I would want the Arrogant champ Armaz. Armaz is such a devastating character. I really don't have a strong counter for him. I have one relic on my Sun Wukong that, has a chance to reflect stuns, but that's about it. I don't really have a good way to deal with with Armaz or Fabian in the arena. So this would be the champ that I would want. It's passive. Whenever a sheep debuff is removed or expires on enemy, increase the cooldown of a random skill that enemy to its max, fills this champion turn meter by 10%. Or added to the cooldown. If there are multiple champions on the skill, only one will activate. This is a strong sheep debuff on an enemy for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be blocked. 75% chance of removing all buffs from all allies. Fills this champion's turn meter by 5% for each buff. This is a strong one here. This is what he usually opens with. Attacks all enemies, steals turn meter of each target, except under enemies under the sheep debuffs. Place a stun debuff on for 1 turn on all enemies not under a sheep debuff. Damage is placed on attack, and then he just does that over and over and over again because of his the way his turn meter works. I would go Armands. Yeah, I mean, Odin would be great. Johannarak would be great. There's a lot of other champs that would be great. I think I'd want Armands, though. Thor would be great as well. So would Raphael, but some of these, like Raphael, I'm not going to count him. But I think I would go with Armands. Let me know if you think I'm crazy, not wanting Thor first priority or Odin first priority. All right, the Ogryn Tribes. Well, it probably would be the new one here, the Klazag Keyhawk. Before we had this new champ, I was probably leaning toward Grazir. Grazir's a good champ. Great reviews in the Hydra and all over the place. Whenever this champ is attacked, heals all allies except this champ 70% of the damage received. Only heals 35% of the damage received from boss attacks. It has no cooldown for this effect. The A3 attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing provoke debuff. This guy is great. Just that, I mean, we don't have to go through his whole kit, but this guy is great. This new guy is the one I would want for the Ogryn Tribes. Not only is a void legendary, but he's a very good one. Does some pretty unique stuff. When his champ places a debuff on an enemy, deals damage equal to 1% of their max HP for each debuff they're currently under. Stacks up to 10%, occurs once per skill and once per target. There's a strong one here. Counterattack buff, unkillable buff on all allies for 2 turns. There's a taunt buff on this champion for 2 turns. If a boss is present around, these buffs are protected. That is a strong skill. 4-turn cooldown when fully booked. Also this one, big AoE attack. First hit, 75% chance of placing decreased defense. 25% weakened debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Cannot be resisted by bosses. After the second hit, 75% goes up to 100% when fully booked as well. 50% decrease in accuracy, 50% decrease resistance buff on all enemies for 2 turns. These buffs cannot be resisted by bosses. This would be the most game-changing, I think, for my account. Let me know who you would want most. As we move on to the Lizardmen, I don't have a lot of Lizardmen. Only one was the Fusion Champ and Donatello. Teox is great, but since he's the Unity champ and they're not always available, I don't think I can pick him. Nekmothar is a great one as well. Great reviews there for a lot of different game modes. But if we were to pick Pythion is a great one as well. But I think if we were to pick one that's not Legate Teox, I think I would go with Krisk the Ageless. Great in a lot of areas that I'm struggling with. Hydra, I need more Hydra teams. This would help in faction wars as well. The passive, at the start of each round, place a shield buff on all allies 2 turns equal to 50% of this champ's max HP. This would be great to pair with Wixwell and Titus as well. This champ's max HP, 75% chance of placing a decreased defense debuff, decreased attack debuff on the attacker when hit. The A3 provoke on all enemies 1 turn, increase defense buff on this champ for 2 turns, increase speed on all allies this champ for 2 turns as well. The A2 attacks all enemies, 50% ally protection buff on all allies except for this champ for 2 turns. 2 continuous heal buffs on this champion for 2 turns, increases the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. So yeah, increases that shield that Wixwell potentially places, increases that doesn't increase the value of the shield, but increases the duration of that shield. So that's a great one. And attacks all enemies, 30% chance of placing decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. So this is the one that I would want the most from the Lizardmen. Not only would he help me in faction wars, but if we did get Wixwell, we have Titus, that would be a great pairing right there. Right, Skinwalkers. We have Sun Wukong. This has been one of my most valuable characters. Marius, because he's only from their missions, I'm not going to count Marius. But if we were to count somebody else other than Marius, I think we would go with the mighty Uugo. Yeah, this character destroys me a lot in arena. He's very great in arena offense, great in arena defense. Maybe not destroys me, but I see him a lot in arena, and whenever I lose, I'm like, ooh, that guy. All right, so the passive, 50% chance of placing a random buff from a random enemy. Each time a buff is placed on an enemy team, will only attempt to steal one buff for each enemy type placed simultaneously. For example, one random buff may be stolen if 3 shield buffs are placed at the same time. Any stolen buffs become protected. A3 revives all dead allies 40% HP, block damage buff on them for 1 turn, so they got a little bit of time to get going again. Increase speed buff on all allies, placed the increased speed buff even if there are no dead allies. Attacks all enemies 2 times on the A2 each hit. 75% chance to remove 2 random buffs from the target. Place a block buffs and a decreased accuracy buff on all targets that have no buffs after attack. Very, very strong champion. I think he would be a great game changer, but Ragash would be great as well. Snick Track would be a great help as well, but I think I would go with Mighty Uugo for that choice. All right, the Orcs. Pretty happy with the Orcs. We got Crocat, Packmaster Shaik, and Artak. But I guess the one that I'm missing the most is Warlord. This guy looks horrible, but is one of the best champs out there. Looks like a common champ, but great in arena offense, arena defense, faction wars, not so great in a demon lord, but great in a lot of other places. And this is not an area that we're struggling with, at least for faction wars normal. Maybe faction wars hard, we will need somebody like this, we need somebody else for help. But it has an AoE attack, 75% chance to put each skills on cooldown of the enemies. So that is a great one, kind of like the Alice A2. 30% chance to fully deplete each target's turn meter based on attack is the damage. Block debuffs buff on all allies for 1 turn, then place a shield buff on all allies equal to 30% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. Heals all allies by 25% of their max HP, and the A1 attacks 1 enemy. 25% of increases the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn, 50% or 40% when fully booked there. So this would be my most wanted, but Supreme Gaelic would be a great one to add. Raka has some revives as well. Tila is okay as well. So I think I would go with Warlord, but there are some other great ones that I would want from the Orcs faction. Moving on to the Demonspawn, I have literally no legendary Demonspawn, so any one of them would help. Man, there's a lot of good ones. Duchess is great. Choclo is great. Cheshire Cat is great. Turn Great Dracos is great as well. Prince Kaimar is great. I think I would have to go back to Duchess though. I think I think she would solve a lot of problems that I'm having right now. We need defense, but if we go down to the, where is it? The Sand Devil's Necropolis, and the Phantom Shogun Grove, that's where I'm struggling. That's where I think she would help the most. Her passive, very strong. Decrease the damage taken from all allies AoE attacks by 25%, 15 for all bosses, so that would help. Revives all dead allies 70% HP, not 75. 4 turn cooldown, when fully booked, Veil buff on all allies except there's this champion. Continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns as well. There's a block debuffs buff, increase attack buffs on all allies for 2 turns. Another perfect Veil on all champions like this champ for 2 turns. And the A1 attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Shield buff equal to 10% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns on this champion and the ally with the lowest HP. Yeah, just helping with the survivability and some problem areas that I'm having right now, particularly that Sand Devil's Necropolis. So I think she would help the most. But any Demonspawn legendary would be great for my account because I have 0 of them. Undead Hordes, there's a lot of great ones here. Siphi Rotos combo would be great. Ultimate Death Knight would be great. But I'm kind of going back to somebody I have no solution for right now, and that is Fabian. Unfortunately, the month that I started, Fabian was the fusion, and I had no idea how the fusions work. It took me a little while, about 2 weeks in, figured out how it worked, and I'm like, oh, I've missed too much of this. So I missed this fusion for Fabian, but I wish I knew what was going on back then. It's great in arena, mainly for arena. I don't care what else he does. I struggle when he's on the field. So if I have my own Fabian to annoy my enemies, that would be great. Whenever enemy is revived, true fear buff on that enemy for 2 turns of multiple champions on the team. This effect will only activate once. That is so annoying, especially because I run Marishka and Arbiter reviving champs, and then when they have that true fear on them, Not as good. All right. Attacks all enemies before attacking. 75% chance placing a decreased duration of all enemy buffs by 3 turns. Will grant an extra turn if there are no buffs on the enemy. 75% chance of increasing cooldowns of all enemy skills by 3 turns. 4-turn cooldown based on attack. And this is a strong one as well. 3-turn cooldown when fully booked. Attacks 1 enemy. Petrification debuff 1 turn. 75% chance placing a true fear debuff for 2 turns on all enemies who are not under fear or true fear debuff. Passive activates the skill whenever an enemy under true fear or true fear successfully uses skill. There are multiple champs on the team with this skill. Only one will activate. This is so strong, and the A1. Each hit steals 10% of the target's turn meter. Place a true fear debuff for 2 turns if the target is turn meter is fully depleted. Yeah. So I don't have a solution for him. I would want him. I think Siffy would probably be the better one for my account. But speaking emotionally here, I want Fabian. But yeah, Ultimate Death Knight, Siffy would be great. Rotos and Siffy combo would be great. Looking around, yeah, I mean, Battle Khazar is a great champ as well. But yeah, I think I would want Lord Entertainer Fabian. All right, moving on to the Knights Revenant. Man, there's so many good Knights Revenant that I'm missing. Queen of Hearts is great. Gorgrid is great as well. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I know he's a great champion. Calvalax with all his poisons that he places on enemies. But Mad Hatter's a great champ as well. I think I would want Theodore though. Theodore, great in many different areas, and I like what this guy does. I know he was in a few summon pools, and I was really hoping to get him and missed out on him. This champ resisted, increased by 5% for each poison on the enemy team. Increases champ duration of all poison debuffs, HP burn debuffs on the enemy by 1 turn. Then instantly activates 1 tick of all poison debuffs and debuff on HP burn debuffs on all allies. So extends it and then activates it, or activates 1 stack that he just extended. Places a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns all enemies not under poison debuffs or HP burn debuffs. The A2, 75% chance of placing 2 poison debuffs and 25% poison sensitivity debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Place a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns as well. And the A1 attacks all enemies, 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. This guy, I think, would be the most game-changing for my account, but all those champs that I mentioned, Calvalax, Queen of Hearts, Mad Hatter, Hegemon even would be great. I would be happy with a lot of these champs. I think Giath is pretty good. But other than that, I'd need a lot more of these legendary Knights Revenant. Dwarves. All right. Acrisia, I'm really happy we got her. And man, there's a bunch of other ones. Underpriest Brogni, I'm kind of wanting him because I have no shield grower right now. Wixwell is the better one, but Brogni also does that. So it would be great to pair with that Titus. Uugo of the Jade came out around the same time that Stolen Foulbeard did. Pairs really good with them. Has some really good reviews as well, especially in Arena. Tormund the Cold, also a great champ as well. Kind of undecided which one I would want. Probably Tormund the Cold, just because he is he's a Void legendary, harder to get some others. And I say, or Nut. Actually, you know what? I forgot about Nut. Let's say Nut. Nut is a great champ. He's a fusion champ, great in many different areas. So as much as I like Tormund, I forgot about Nut. Nut is a character that we would want. Nut or New? Let me know in the comments if I'm pronouncing that right. Chimera, Fire Ice Castle, Spider's End, just damage is insane. Big damage dealer, defensive champion. His passive, when counterattacking, 100% of damage instead of 75%. Attacks 1 enemy 3 times. Each hit decreases the target's defense by 3, stacks up to 30%. So yeah, stacking this decreases that. Each hit also heals this champ by 30% of the damage dealt, and it's based on his defense and the enemy max HP. That is strong. The A2 attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff and a 25% weakened debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Counterattack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Damage is based on defense and attacks 1 enemy 3 times. Each hit, 80% chance to decrease the target's turn meter by 15%. So yeah, that is a 45% decrease potential for the turn meter. If the target's turn meter is not decreased, each at 80% chance of placing a freeze debuff on the target for 1 turn instead. Yeah, I would love to have this guy. He was a fusion before I started playing, and I wish I could get that guy. Right, couple more Shadowkin. There's a lot of Shadowkin that I'm missing. And obviously Leonardo would be a game changer. Ieyasu would be great. I think he is the, no, he's not the faction unity. Tetsuya is the faction unity champ. Lady Kimi would be great. Yumeko would be great. Riho would be great. Ninja, I'm not going to say because that Ninja is not possible to get. But I think for me, Michinaki would be the one I want. I know he's probably not the best out of all those, but I think I would want Michinaki. Great for Hydra, great for Faction Wars, great for Demon Lord. Does a bunch of things with Hex. Whenever an ally attacks an enemy under Hex debuff, this champ has a 50% chance to join in the attack. Attacks all enemy 2 times. First hit removes all buffs from each target. Second hit, place a Hex debuff for 2 turn damage, is based on defense. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a 60% decrease defense debuff for 2 turns. 75% chance goes up to 100% when fully booked, placing a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns on each enemy under Hex debuffs. Damage is based on defense and attacks 1 enemy, 50% chance of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns. So this is the champ that I would want the most. Although, yeah, Yumeko, Kyoku, a lot of these champs would be great champs. I mean, even Shredder because he's a limited time champ. Harima for the damage dealer. There's a lot in the Shadowkin that I'm missing. All right, and last but not least, it is the Sylvan Watchers. There's a lot of Sylvan Watchers that I would love. Nihame, the Spear of Nyrisa, great champ, great arena champ. I tried to get her in a summon pool, did not get her. I think I tried for a progressive chance, did not get her either. Valaro the Lost, a recent champ, great one. The free champ, I would not want him. Kalalite the Astral is a great champ as well. Grano Pedrig, Hero the Bardcone, Elva. I think I would go back to Arena though and get Nihame, the Spear of Nyrisa. This was a champ that I think I tried to pull for progressive chance a few times while we had some double chances going on. Great champ though, placing a block damage buff on all allies for 1 turn at the start of the round. Each time this champ's HP drops below 50%. With multiple champs, only 1 will activate. Heals all allies. The value of the heal is proportional to this champion's defense. Place a block debuff buff and a 50% ally protection buff on all allies for 2 turns, 3 turn cooldown. The A2 attacks 1 enemy. If the target has 50% HP or less, this attack is always critical and ignores 50% of the target's defense. Place a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of the shield is equal to the difference between the target's current HP and the target's max HP. If the target is a boss, the value of the shield is proportional to the champ's defense instead. So also great in boss fights. The target is killed also reduces the cooldowns of all ally skills by 2 turns. That is why I want this champ. That one, if we kill somebody, all cooldowns reduced by 2 for all allies, and attacks 1 enemy, 50% decrease attack debuff, 30% decrease crit rate debuff on the target for 2 turns, and a 50% chance that these debuffs cannot be resisted or blocked. And is great in a lot of different areas. Arena defense, Demon Lord, Faction Wars, Hydra, Iron Twins, bunch of other areas as well. Just great all over the place. But yeah, there's a lot of other champs that I need. So those are my most wanted legendary champs, guys. Let me know if you have some similar wish lists or you already have those champs and you moved on to some other characters that you want. If you did get some value from the video, leave the video a like, check out some other videos on the channel, check me out on social media, and make sure if you want to start off that brand new Raid Shadow Legends account, use that link in the description or that QR code up there to start off that account. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thanks for watching. Hulk Fist Bump ValleyFlyin out. Have a great one, guys.